You're listening to Murder Not Murdering with Erin,
and Autumn,
a true crime podcast about murder and murdering.
but we are not murderers.
We are back at Murder Not Murdering with Erin and
Autumn.
And last night we went in public together and went
Sorry, the
facts.
way she said that made it sound like, I don't know, like we're trolls and we climb out from underneath a bridge when we go into
Listen,
public.
I'm not talking about what your hair looks like today.
Hey,
JK. It looks fine. But Autumn did wear a bra, so that was pretty fancy.
what the fuck?
You're welcome.
Like, the only time I'm not wearing a bra is in my own home.
Yeah, when we're recording every time.
I mean, who cares? Like, I'm in my own home.
You dress up for me.
No. Let's
Fine.
not let's bring out the robe that Erin wears.
Okay, I get cold sometimes.
She looks like a female Hugh Hefner in this big robe. Like,
I like to drink tea sometimes while I'm recording, and I like to be cozy. So
MG.
Facts.
And she's making fun of me for not wearing a bra.
I just look quasi-homeless. It's fine.
Okay.
Anyways, like I said, we went in a public place together, seen by actual humans. And
Yes, actual humans saw us.
we went to my restaurant, Booho. And then afterward, we went to the Paramount Theater for My Favorite Murder live.
The podcast.
Yes, obviously.
It might not
We
be
were-
so obvious to some people.
Well, if they're listening to a true crime podcast and they don't know like the number one true crime podcast, then what the hell are you doing? Are you too new? Come on now. So that's been on the air for 10 years. And it was one of the podcasts that inspired us that we could do this and that we could come up with cases and find ways to record our own podcast and get into writing and researching and all of that. And so it was kind of a cathartic thing for us both to go to that together.
It was so fun. We had the best
It was
time.
so much fun. We had a great time.
And Karen specifically is such a good storyteller.
Yeah. I mean, it was really great. We won't spoil what cases they did just because I'm sure you're listening. But
Oh.
mhm,
I
mean,
listening.
yeah. And if you are a listener there, tell your friends that they should listen to our podcast as well if they are into true crime.
Yes. Spread the love.
I told Autumn I wished we wore shirts for our podcast because we were
With
in
our QR code. Yeah.
But it felt really, really special to be in a room all the way up to the ceiling, sold out 2 nights in a row, like knowing that there's this massive community of people that are all into true crime and that all see what we see. And we're not just two little weirdos in our studios.
100%.
So there was something that was really
And
great about it.
there could have been some of our listeners in that audience. If you were in that audience, let us know. Message us on Instagram at
If you were in the
Murder Not
audience
Murdering.
at either show, because they have 2
Yeah,
nights
They have
sold
2
out.
shows.
Yeah.
But either show, just let us know because we were in the first night audience.
Yes. Because I am working tonight and I'm hosting our annual Rocky Horror Picture Show at the rink.
It's going to be so fun.
Literally one of my favorite nights of the year. And everybody, like most people, are dressed up. And then we play the movie in between, like the scenes where they're not singing. I DJ and I'll have music playing. And then when the big musical numbers come up, we have a shadow cast from the Vicarious Theater Company that runs out onto froggers their way out onto the floor. And then they do the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And it's just They're a really good shadow cast, and it's so much fun. I love it so much,
That is awesome.
and I'm excited. I don't know if you can tell, I'm very excited about
I'm
this.
excited for you, friend.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good one. Um, so those are the 2 big things that just happened. It was really like I said, it was really great to see all the murderinos in one space, and that was great.
We loved it. It was so fun. We had the best time.
We did. I mean, I kept Autumn out past bedtime,
She did. She did.
and she was
I'm an early snoozer,
so excited you got home, and you were like, "Oh my god, I'm still excited." So,
and I didn't go to sleep right away. Dustin
no.
was sawing logs, and I was hyped up.
Yeah. I was hyped up when I got home too. I was like, "Woo." That was just it was really fun and kinda like the energy in there was really good and the fact that, people were just super into it. It just felt good to be in a room full of people that get what you are doing,
Mhm. We It
or
was
what
so
you're
fun.
into. Yeah.
Yes, it was just so fun. It was really cool to see them in person, to,
Mhm.
like, watch them and, like, listen to them, and we have, like, now, obviously, opposed to when we first started listening, so much to relate to them with, like the
Yes.
research, the writing, the how much effort actually goes into a podcast. So it was just really cool to see that in person.
And to see them unedited, right? Because, by the time you get to your finished product, it's always slightly different. Like, even
Yes,
when we record, mostly because I fuck up a lot of things that I'm saying or cars are going by or whatever, we record a lot longer and then it all gets shortened down to fit, you know, our time limit, which we keep under an hour usually.
we try
And
to.
also we wanna make it so it's easy for you to listen to on your way to work or wherever you are. I get shower a lot. A lot of people say they listen to me in
I
the shower.
love to listen to podcasts in the shower. That is my favorite time because there's no distractions and I can get really into it. It's like
Mhm.
an audiobook of sorts, right? Like you
And Autumn
just
just
get to
thinks
have
of
some me
Norman
time.
Bates. Norman Bates the
I
whole
do
time.
not. I do not. But I will tell you, I always lock my bathroom door.
Oh,
I always do.
you
Even
don't want Dustin sneaking a peek.
no, no, that's not why. But like,
I
I
shut my
always lock.
door. Oh, go
I
ahead.
always lock it because I feel like if their most vulnerable time is, I feel like when you're in the shower, right? Like
Naked and
you're
afraid.
naked, you have nothing in there really that you can defend yourself with. You're slippery, you're wet. Like it's not a good time for someone to come and sneak up on
Sure.
you. So I want to at least hear someone like bust through that door or try to open the door so I'm prepared, right? I want to get my shampoo bottles. I mean, something, my razor. I don't know, but like I want some time to prepare.
I always shut my door because my cats come in and stare at me like little creeps. So
Oh yeah, my cat. I sometimes lock the door with my cats in there, and they're like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "In or out? You chose."
yeah, that's not the life for me. My dogs would go in the shower with me, so they are not allowed. Literally inside of the shower. They're just happy to spend time with me. They don't care.
Yeah, my cats do not want to be in the shower, but they'll be in the room.
Yeah, Agador, my, Great Dane who I lost this last year, he loved the shower so much, and I think he just like hot water and, like, getting a good
It probably
scrub
felt
down.
good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so he even from the time he was a puppy, he would just full on immerse himself in the shower. He wanted to be in there with you, and we were just hanging out together. So, like, a lot of times I'd let him. I'm like, "Fine, you're stinky. I'll put a little shampoo. Little for you, a little for me." That's so funny. He just walked right in. He's like, "Hi, I'm here for my scrub down. Thank you."
Thanks, mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I miss that boy.
He was a
Anywho,
good boy.
he was a good boy. I have 2 dogs. Um, One is Ravioli, who you have heard barking in the background on occasion,
He's so
and
cute.
he's half dachshund, half corgi, and mostly menace. And then we have Ethel, and Ethel is a pit bull mastiff mix. So she's a big gal, and, she's black and white and very cute and very sweet.
She's very sweet.
Yeah, I love them. I love dogs, and cats are there as well.
Cats are there
Mhm. I have 2
because your
cats.
daughter and your husband are crazy cat ladies.
That is true. Since I'm sharing, I'll say I have a cat named Love who's more of a hate cat, and then I have a small he's like a big fluffy cat, and then I have a small little tortoiseshell cat, and her name is Glory. So we have Love and Glory. And then, we also have a tarantula named Blanche, and we have a crested gecko named Dune. So we've got a full ass house here. And
And I
Autumn
have
is
the
the craziest cat
old
lady.
yeah. I have the old man and the old lady litter mates. They're brother and sister. They're 14, and their names are Mischief and Mayhem.
And give us a description of their colors, please, for our
Mischief is
viewers.
a Mischief is a tuxedo kitty, and Mayhem is a cow kitty.
Moo.
And he is so cute, and she is so sassy. She is my little warden. She, like, walks around, orders me around, tells me I'm stealing her man, like, she is
Although,
the best.
I will say he does not like getting kicked out of the studio before we record.
No, he
We
does
usually
not.
get some protesting.
He loves to be by his mommy, so he's like, "No." And he has, like, a little black and white checkered couch that he lays on in here. It's a cat couch, and that's his favorite spot, so he would probably be pretty good if I let him stay, but then he sometimes wants to get up on my lap, and then he'll start yelling, so it's just not worth it.
100%. All right. Well, now that we have talked about our animals, a little pet sharing,
A
if
little
you
pet sharing.
want, we can post pictures. So
We have before, I'll repost them.
yeah, look out for those in our stories, and you can see all of our animals that usually interrupt the
Mhm.
podcast.
Yes,
Um, so I believe I go first this week,
you do.
and I am doing something a little out of the norm for me. I'm doing a very, very, very popular case. And
That is very unusual for you.
I usually like to keep it to something that is a little under wraps, some that only a few people have heard of. But this time I decided for our Halloweeny time, I would do something spooky and I would do something more popular.
I'm
So
ready.
I'm hoping that this gets a lot of people interested in listening to our podcast. So we will see. I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'll give it all away in the title. This is the story of the Greenbrier Ghost. In the winter of 1897, deep in the Allegheny Mountains of West Virginia, a young woman named Elva Zona Heister was found dead at the foot of a staircase in her small farm home. At first glance, it looked like an accident, a tragic fall, a kind of senseless death that comes quietly and leaves behind only whispers. But the story that followed was anything but quiet, because this time, the whispers spoke back. This is the story of the Greenbrier Ghost, the only known case in American history where a ghost's testimony helped secure a murder conviction.
What?
You heard that right. The
I don't know this
year,
one.
oh, autumn. And this has also some really interesting names. Okay, here we go. The year was 1897. The setting, Greenbrier County, West Virginia, a place of rolling hills, tight knit communities, and long memories. Zona Heister was 23 years old, a bright, cheerful girl, perhaps described as nearly all true crime documentaries would say, the kind of girl who lights up a room.
Yeah, we're not
According,
those kinda girls.
Mm, I can be sometimes, it scares me a little.
God.
According to the neighbors, she was recently married to a handsome blacksmith with the name Erasmus Stribling Trout Shoe. That is a lot of names. But a lot of people called him Edward. Autumn,
Okay.
are you a team Edward?
I am team Jacob.
Of course you are. The marriage was quick, maybe too quick. They met when Edward arrived in Greenbrier the year before. working at the local blacksmith shop in Livesey's mill. Within weeks, he'd charmed Zona and won her mother's reluctant approval. Mary Jane Heaster, Zona's mother, never trusted him. She didn't like his eyes, one neighbor would later recall. She said he looked like a man who'd do something terrible if he was crossed. On January 23rd, 1897, a young African American boy named Anderson Jones, who would run errands for the shoes, was sent by Edward to the farmhouse with instructions to ask Zona if she needed anything from town. Jones found the house quiet. The door was ajar. And when he stepped inside, he saw her. Zona lay at the foot of the stairs, stretched out, one arm at her side and the other across her chest. Her head was tilted slightly, oddly, unnaturally, to one side. Jones later told the Greenbrier Independent, "I went to her, I shook her, and seeing that she was dead, I ran out as fast as I could." He ran for help, and by the time the local doctor, Dr. George Knapp, arrived, Edward was already there. The blacksmith was weeping. He was cradling his wife's head and rocking her body on the floor. When Dr. Knapp tried to examine her, Edward refused to let go. He insisted she died suddenly of a fainting spell, of what he called the everlasting faint. Dr. Knapp, perhaps uneasy at the scene, didn't press the issue. He treated Zona before for female troubles, and after an examination, he declared the death natural causes and then put perhaps childbirth. There are no records at all of any pregnancy, and she and her husband had only been married for 3 months. Back then, you did not have babies before you were married, or
Right,
you won't.
premarital sex was
Yes.
highly frowned upon.
Highly frowned upon. You would be cast out as an outcast for the rest of your life. Anyway, we do know that Zona did have a child out of wedlock, and she gave him up years before, but that doesn't explain why the coroner would list her death as childbirth. But just like that, the matter might have ended there. But even as her body was laid out for burial, something didn't sit right. In Greenbrier County, funerals were as much community gatherings as acts of mourning. Neighbors brought food, shared stories, and prayed together. But at Zona's funeral, people noticed something strange. Edward's shoe hovered close to the coffin. He dressed her himself, which is not common. He dressed her in a high-collared, bright velvet dress with a scarf firmly around her neck. He placed a pillow to one side of her head and a rolled-up cloth on the other. When mourners tried to adjust the scarf or move her in any way, he would snap violently, insisting she needed to rest that way. The high-collar dress, not uncommon for the time, but the scarf around her neck absolutely was.
Mm.
And Mary Jane Heaster watched quietly. That's her mother. She never liked the man, and now her suspicions burned. After the burial, she took a small piece of the white sheet that had been in Zona's coffin, and she kept it. She washed it later and said when she placed it in the water, the clear water turned red as blood. And that, she said, was the sign. A few nights later, Zona's mother prayed for a revelation, and she got one. In 4 consecutive nights of what she called visitations, Mary Jane said her daughter's spirit appeared at the foot of her bed, surrounded by a cold light. In her words, "She came back to me in a bright light, then faded into darkness, and I could see her spirit plain as day. She told me that her neck had been squeezed off at the first joint by Edward." Mary Jane claimed that the ghost demonstrated how her neck was broken, turning her head completely around. Which, how scary would that be to see your daughter show up and in it as an apparition, tell you that her neck was squeezed nearly all the way off and then spun her head around? That seems like a lot.
Yes.
Zona's ghost, she said, told her that Edward had attacked her in a fit of rage after she told him she hadn't cooked any meat for supper. A domestic quarrel, an enraged husband, a strangled wife. The details were grisly, but specific, too specific to ignore. Mary Jane went to the local prosecutor, John Alfred Preston, and told him everything. Now, Preston wasn't a man prone to superstition, but he was struck by how consistent the story was. And truth be told, he already had doubts about that death certificate. So he quietly ordered Zona's body exhumed. On February 22nd, 1897, 1 month after her burial, the body of Zona Heaster Shue was exhumed from a little cemetery on Sewell Mountain. The coroner, Dr. William R. Knapp, no relation to the attending doctor, which is wild, performed the autopsy in a local schoolhouse since there was no morgue nearby. Witnesses said it took 3 hours. When they examined her neck, the results were undeniable. The neck was broken between the first and second vertebrae, the report said. The ligaments were torn and the windpipe was crushed. Zona Heaster had been strangled. And just like that, the ghost's accusation suddenly matched the physical evidence. Edward Shue was arrested immediately. The trial began June 1897 at the Greenbrier County Courthouse in Lewisburg. Erasmus Shue pled not guilty. He appeared confident, even smug, telling reporters, "They'll never prove a thing against me." What a bizarre thing to say.
Yeah,
Most would have
super bizarre.
Most would have claimed their innocence after losing a loved one, but to boast they wouldn't prove anything against you, it's almost like he was taunting them to prove his guilt. And also, he mentioned to newspapers that he imagined he would have 7 wives in total in his lifetime, furthering this idea that he was going to be out soon. But for the prosecution, they had more than a ghost story now. They had found out that Edward was married 2 times before. His first wife divorced him for cruelty. His second wife had died mysteriously from what was called a fall from a haystack.
What?
Remember, remember Zona fell from the stairs? Neighbors began to talk, and then came the most remarkable moment of all. Mary Jane Heaster herself took the stand. The defense attorney, perhaps hoping to discredit her, asked her directly about her supposed supernatural revelation. She didn't hesitate. Under oath, she said, "She came to me 4 nights in a row, and she told me that her neck was broken by her husband. I saw the spirit as plainly as I see these gentlemen before me." The courtroom fell silent. The prosecutor never called the ghost as evidence, obviously. He didn't need to,
Sorry.
but the defense's attempt to ridicule her backfired. The jury found her credible, sincere, and most importantly, her story fit the facts. On July 11th, 1897, after just 1 hour of deliberation, the jury found Erasmus Shue guilty of murder in the first degree. He was sentenced to life in prison. Newspapers across the country ran the headline, "Ghost Testimony Convicts Murderer." One article from the Greenbrier Independent wrote, "It is the most remarkable case in the annals of time, where the voice of the dead was heard and justice was done." Edward Shue served just 3 years in the state penitentiary before dying in 1900 of an epidemic that swept the prison. He was buried in an unmarked grave, and few mourned him. Mary Jane Heaster lived on for more than 2 decades after the trial, steadfast in her belief that her daughter's spirit had come to her to see that justice was done. And today, in Greenbrier County, there is a roadside marker that reads, "Interred in nearby cemetery is Zona Heaster Shue. Her death in 1897 was at first presumed natural until her spirit appeared to her mother to describe how she was killed by her husband, the only known case in which testimony from a ghost helped convict a murderer." Skeptics have long debated whether the ghost's visitations were real or simply a mother's intuition wrapped in grief. But here's the truth: without her persistence, ghost or no ghost, Zona's murder might have never been solved. In the mountains of Greenbrier County, they still tell her story. Some say on cold January nights you can see a woman in red velvet standing by the old Heaster farm. Her head bowed slightly, her neck forever turned, as if remembering. This case blurs the lines between folklore and fact, between faith and evidence, between living and the dead. Whether Zona's spirit truly returned or her mother's conscience saw what others refused to see, one thing remains clear. Sometimes justice needs a voice, even if that voice has to come from beyond the grave. My sources were Wikipedia, Appalachian History, West Virginia Tourism, the Historical Marker Database, Appalachian Historian, and Atlas Obscura.
Like, that's wild.
Yeah. So, other things that they said is that when she was in the coffin, that her head kept kind of like slomping over. So, people kept trying to, like, adjust, like, kind of, like, fix her a little bit, right? Because everybody was walking up and seeing her, so they just try to move her a little bit, and he would, like, run over and yell at them, and when originally the doctor came in to check on her, he refused to let her go, like, refused to, like, let go of her body. He was holding her head still, so you couldn't see anything, and you, at that point, couldn't see any finger marks on her neck, but as she decomposed, the finger marks showed up in the autopsy. So, and you know what is the thing that gets me the most in this is I think it is so fucking fucked up that he sent that little boy to find her body.
Mhm.
Like, he knew he killed her, right?
He
So
knew, 100%.
that little boy, Andy Jones, he was like, "Go check on her." And he sent this child to go find the body of his wife at the bottom of the stairs. I
Repulsive.
mean, that is fucked.
So fucked.
I feel like you would think if a child went, the child's gonna, like, see it and then run to find help, whereas an adult might try to help her and would have noticed that her head was falling off because her neck was completely broken. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then they would have told the doctor. So it was the person that he probably assumed would be the easiest for finding her. And if he reported it, he would more likely be a suspect, right?
Totally, 100%.
And for a good reason, because he killed his wife. So there we go. That was the Greenbrier Ghost. And it still is one of the only cases ever to have a ghost convict a murderer. Because had her mom not either thought of this or something, it came to her, if it really did happen, or whatever you believe, they would have never exhumed her body. It would never push them. That's the thing. They were
Mhm.
already suspecting, right?
Right.
They
Right.
had they had a case outside of the ghost, but that just pushed it a little bit further.
Right.
Anyway, that's a very famous case and a lot of people have covered it. So I hope you
I
all
had
enjoyed it.
never heard it before.
Well, I'm excited to hear yours, Autumn.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows this story, but it fits the month of October for sure.
Awesome.
I'm just gonna get right into it, and you'll find out who it's about. If you ever find yourself driving down Archer Avenue late at night, roll down your window. Listen closely, because if the stories are true, you might just hear footsteps or the faint swish of a white dress somewhere along the road that cuts between Willowbrook Ballroom and Resurrection Cemetery. Locals say she's been walking there for nearly a century. A young woman, lost and alone, searching for a ride home. They call her Resurrection Mary. And for generations, people have claimed they've met her. The story starts back in the 1930s, a time when Chicago's Southwest Side was alive with music and dance halls. The kind of nights that smelled like cigarette smoke and perfume, where big bands played and people forgot, for a little while, how hard life really was. And on one of those nights, at a place then called the O. Henry Ballroom, a girl named Mary went out dancing. Some say she argued with her date that night. Others say she left alone, heading down Archer Avenue on foot in a light colored dress. Maybe satin, maybe white, a dress that would make her stand out even under a weak streetlight. Somewhere along that stretch of road, something terrible happened. A car, a scream, the sound of tires on gravel, and then nothing. She was gone. Not long after that, people started seeing her. It always starts the same way. A lone driver, usually a man, spotting a young woman walking along the roadside near Resurrection Cemetery. She's barefoot, sometimes holding her shoes in one hand. Her hair is blonde or light brown, her skin pale, almost too pale. They pull over, they ask if she needs a ride, and she always does. I'm sorry, I'm not fucking letting someone in my car. I don't care who you are or what you look like. It's not
Nope,
happening. I'm
never
not that
ever.
person. I'm not
I think
asking you if you need a ride. It's just not happening.
we've done this too long to
Yeah.
help anybody.
I'm so sorry. If you are
Yeah.
really stranded and you're walking and you're in, yeah, I don't care how innocent in life you are. It's not going to be me that picks you up. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. She gets in the car, quiet but polite. She tells them her name is Mary. She gives an address on the north side of Archer. Sometimes she asks to stop by the ballroom first, says she left something there. And then, just as they pass the gates of Resurrection Cemetery, she disappears. Gone. No sound, no door opening, just empty air where a moment ago she sat. One of the earliest and most famous accounts came in the late 1930s. A man named Jerry Pallas said he met her one night at that same ballroom, the O. Henry. They danced, they talked, he even kissed her goodnight. When he offered her a ride home, she gave him an address. But when he went to the door the next day, her mother answered, and she told him, "Mary doesn't live here anymore. My daughter died years ago." That was the moment the name Resurrection Mary stuck, because when Jerry checked the cemetery nearby, he found her name etched in stone. Or so the story goes. Over the decades, the sightings continued. Cab drivers, truckers, soldiers heading home, ordinary people who had no reason to lie. In the 1970s, a man reported hitting a young woman just outside Resurrection Cemetery. He said she ran out in front of his car, her dress glowing in the headlights. He jumped out, terrified he'd killed her. But when he looked around, there was nobody, no footprints, nothing but the heavy silence of the road. Another time, a driver claimed to see her hand pressed against the iron bars of the cemetery gate. And the next morning, the bars themselves were found bent apart, as if melted by heat. That part's true, by the way. You can still see them today.
Oh, that's
No
so
one,
creepy.
and no one can explain it.
Seriously, I would totally take a picture of myself like I was pulling them apart.
You would do that, and then the ghost would follow you home, just saying.
Oh god, yeah.
As for who she was, there are theories. Some say Mary was a girl named Mary Bregovy, who died in a car accident in 1934. Her grave is in Resurrection Cemetery. The timeline fits. Others think she was Anna Norcus, a teenager who died tragically on her way home from the O. Henry Ballroom, the same road, the same stretch. But the truth? It's slippery. The records blur, the details change. What stays the same is her. The white dress, the road, the sudden vanishing act that leaves even the toughest skeptics shaken. Maybe that's why her story never died, because Resurrection Mary isn't just a ghost. She's a piece of Chicago's past, still walking the line between then and now. You can almost picture it, the dance floor lights fading to gold, the sound of a slow song starting, her hand resting on someone's shoulder just once before she has to go. Some say she dances there still, in the flicker of the headlights when the fog rolls in. There's something sad about her, isn't there? She doesn't seem angry or vengeful or even lost in the way most ghosts are. She just wants a ride home. Maybe it's not the road she's haunting. Maybe it's the memory of that one night she never finished. If you ever find yourself driving down Archer Avenue and the night feels a little too quiet, keep your eyes on the side of the road. If you see a girl in a pale dress standing alone in the cold, you could stop. You could ask if she needs a ride. Just don't be surprised if she disappears before they reach the gates. Some say she's still out there, waiting for one last dance. And maybe tonight, she's walking again. My sources were the Chicago History Museum, Wikipedia, CBS News, and my imagination.
Oh, good times.
I just had to, I mean, that obviously is a ghost story. I don't
Yeah.
know any of it is true except for the like bars being bent. You can actually go and see it, which is pretty cool. And I'll post pictures. But everyone I feel like knows this, like has heard of Resurrection Mary in some way or shape or
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
I hope you weren't listening on a scary road at night all alone because
If
I
you're
don't
driving right
know.
now on a country road,
In the
know
night.
that in the night,
Don't be rolling down your window. Don't be listening. Don't ask anyone for a ride. I just was trying to be spooky. Like, please don't ask if someone needs a ride. Just keep going. Just keep going.
keep
Stay
going.
safe. Stay alive.
Stay alive. You know what's funny though? When you mentioned that the ghost would follow me home, you know what I thought of immediately?
My grandma.
Yep. I know we've talked about it before, but when we were teenagers, Autumn's grandma told us a ghost story about her haunting. And then she told us, like, as we're going to sleep too, then she told us that it followed her to another house.
Yeah, she's very adamant that ghosts follow you from home to home. So you don't ever leave a haunting. They just come with you.
So that's comforting. That's really
Very comforting.
comforting. Now go
And
to sleep, kids.
she has actually she has quite a lot of stories. Maybe next week I'll tell an original Sharon. I don't know.
It was
I mean,
definitely
she
a
has
little
some really
jarring.
scary stories, and my
Yeah.
mom does too. And she swears, especially at so my mom's grandma said she said that her house was haunted. My mom says that. And she said that when she was younger, this is just a story that she's told forever, and my brother and I at least, that when she was little, she loved popcorn and her grandparents would make it sometimes. And it was at night and she could smell popcorn being made and she was so excited. So she ran down the stairs and looked for the popcorn and nothing was there. No one was there. No one had made popcorn, but she could still smell it. She was like, "What is happening?" And so she went back upstairs and she was laying in bed and a man a ghost man in a top hat came and sat on her frickin' bed, and she said she was terrified. My mom told that story,
Oh,
said
your
that
mom.
yeah, my
Thanks,
mom said
Kathy.
my mom said that happened at her grandma's house.
That's you
So
guys
my
all are
grandma's mom.
haunted. It's all
I'm
of
not
you.
haunted. I don't have any ghost stories, but my
That
mom and my grandma do.
yet
Oh god.
you
Don't
never
say
know
that.
what's about to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember San Jane?
Hey, that wasn't me, that was your daughter.
So, fun fact, sorry we're going on a little bit about it, but we had shorter stories. So, when Lucy was about, I don't know, 3, I think,
Yeah, she was 3,
we
no older than 4.
no. So, she was over at my sister's house, and my sister is very superstitious. And she was like, "Auntie, what about that man?" And my sister's like, "What?" And she said, "San Jane," which is not a name. San Jane is not a name. I've tried to look up in all different kinds of spellings. I've never found the name San Jane. I did find a guy named Sam Jane, but that's totally different. And maybe she was right. Maybe it's Sam Jane. I don't know. Anyway, so she said San Jane, like nothing, like it was just part of a regular conversation. And she's like, he is always hiding behind the curtain over there, which is a really
I
freaky
peed
thing
my
to
pants.
say. And so, knowing that my sister is so superstitious, me and my mom were laughing hysterically at her expense. And then we were like, "What do you mean, Lucy? Why don't you tell us more? Because we're monsters." And mostly me. And I am the eldest. See, so then Lucy says, "Yeah, sometimes he likes to brush your hair and stand in your closet."
The fact that Lou said that at 3 made it even
Well,
spookier.
she wasn't joking. She wasn't like,
She
messing
no,
with her
she
or
couldn't
anything. She was just a
I
little
mean,
kid.
now Lou would pick up on something like that and maybe mess with her, but, like, back then, there was no way that a
Oh my
three-year-old's
God, it
picking
was
up on
killing me.
sarcasm. It was wild.
It was wild. I was dying. I was just like, "Oh my God."
The fact that she said he likes to stand there and sometimes brush your hair, like, can you even
And then stand in the closet.
stand in the closet
But,
and then, brush your hair?
most of the time he's hiding behind the curtain. I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "I
Cannot
need to
handle
find
it.
the San Jane." Oh, I was dying. And I was laughing so hard, tears were pouring out of my face. Like, it was so funny, especially because my sister was just like, "What?"
I
So
mean, it's terrifying coming from this adorable little 3-year-old, just spitting it like it's facts.
well, it's not like she turned and said, "I see dead people,"
I mean, she very much could have. The next
But
sentence, it was
they do
heading that
say
way.
I mean, if horror movies tell me anything, kids can see them more than adults.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Just saying. So, maybe one day I'll find out about Sam Jane, whomever he is, and I will tell that story on this very podcast.
I'm
No,
here for it.
it's not gonna
We'll bring
happen.
on Leo and she'll be like, "So, I remember that way he looked."
I was just dying though. Oh man, it was killing me. I was like, "What does he look like?" She's like, "He's really tall." I'm like, "Oh, this is so exciting. Just looming over you while you sleep."
This is so exciting.
It's so funny. Oh my God, I was
Cannot
dying.
handle it.
Anyways, we're going to post about our cases on Instagram at Murder Not Murdering and also on our TikTok at mnn.pod. So check those out, and we will be back again next week for our final installment of our Halloween series of cases. So we will see you then, and tell all of your friends and your fellow murderinos that you should listen to our podcast. So
Yes,
we will
please.
see you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.